Hey guys, Mauro here. For the one-handed backhand players, I have a tip with the right shoulder. This is something. This is one of the. I have to say, this is one of the 2 or 3 things that I did. It's a huge change in my backhand. This is one of the things that I think that after, watching for hours and hours and hours, videos and pictures. I do that every single day. I'm always looking at stuff, what they're doing, the players on the forehand and backhands. But this is one thing that I swear to God, I spend months analyzing, okay, how do professionals, they get to that ball, the one-handed backhand. And I did another video where I talk about the balance. It's not the balance only that helps with the power, but I say, how can they have that control so smooth, making perfect contact with the ball over and over and over to have the control of the ball. Well, one thing that I finally got to understand, I found out, is that I noticed that they rotate very well. Okay, they rotate very well. And they bring that shoulder forward. They don't turn just enough here. They kind of cross over this right foot here, okay? And I always thought, okay, so but how can they hit that? How can they hit that ball so clean, control it over and over, and hitting hard? Well, there are 2 things they do. One, they rotate enough here to create a good coil and uncoiling. And the second, but the main thing that I found out is the shoulder. When they place the shoulder here, it's like the shoulder is like a pillar that goes all the way to the ground. See, standing there and like thinking, I'm gonna lean on this pillar. I'm not gonna let it go crazy. I'm not gonna let it move too much that way, or open too much, or open too far back. But more like, okay, this is the pillar where I'm leaning on. This is my support, and then from there I'm ready and I swing it. But when you swing, you don't let the body go crazy. You keep the balance, you keep the balance in the court, and that's gonna help you control the body. But bringing that pillar and having the idea that everything is gonna start from here. Everything is gonna start from this pillar that is my shoulder there. If I had that pillar here, that's no support. That's not gonna give you nothing. There is no colon on coil. You're just gonna go straight. That's why you got to make sure you bring that, you do that good coil, and when you swing it, you wanna have good control of the body without letting it move too much here, and without letting, when we move too much here, the core of the body moves too much. When the core of the body moves, that's when we miss. So you have to pay attention, not doing jerky movements, not what I call with the little kids, like not having seizures, when you're swinging. No, smooth, move quickly, get that shoulder there, and imagine that you say, I'm gonna lean here, and I'm gonna initiate, ready, I'm ready here, boom. And I initiate that swing, but always trying to keep my balance initially with my shoulder here. This is what's gonna pretty much dictate my control, where I'm gonna make contact with the ball. If I don't move this, my swing is always gonna go in the same spot, always, as well as I don't move that shoulder. So that's the one thing you wanna pay attention to. You're moving, you're getting to that ball, and you do a good coil. So even when you don't have time, even when it's kind of a difficult shot to hit, sometimes coming high, but if you have a good coil here, you're gonna get to turn, you're gonna have the good control. The second thing that I wanted to tell you that really helps, this is gonna help you a lot with the power, generate that power in the short, when you don't have a lot of time, is this is very, a lot of players do it. I think the most noticeable, if you go and see pictures, is Shapo. The guy prepares, and he brings that racket well behind when he turns. That racket starts pointing back towards the back fence, not here, but here. Now, how do they do that? They don't bring the arm close and then they do this. That's one thing that I did some research to find out, okay, what is it doing that he allows those players to really get to snap from here instead of snap from here? Well, they get to snap from here because they extend this arm a little bit to the side, out of the way. If you bring it here, your arm is always kind of going to be there. It's kind of difficult to keep the racket here. So what they do is that they bring the racket back, but they extend the arm to the side. And when that racket drops and it snaps from here. So it goes 1 towards the back fence, towards the side 2 and 3. And you finish her all the way around. But see, it goes 1, 2, 3. By the time you hit that ball, that racket came all the way around here, not just from here, or not just from there. No, it's from here. That snap is coming, boom, they just drop. They don't even have to, you don't even have to think about the snap. You don't even have to think about bringing it pointing that way. You just turn well on your side and you get that racket ready. But my arm is relaxed here. So when you let it go, look how it drops. The racket is totally pointing that way. So imagine the snap that you, imagine the speed that the head of the racket generates if it starts from back here and by the time you get to that ball. So that's one thing that you work, it's totally with the core of the body. Turn, boom, and then you let it go. That's gonna help you with the shots that you don't have time, especially with the shots that you don't have time and you can still hit hard and control. So pay attention to the shoulder, pay attention to that rotation and the arm here. And the third thing that, this is something that Dominic Thiem does perfectly. I mean, just perfect. He doesn't swing, when you wanna go hard, fast, especially when you're rushing, you don't have to really go forward and finish the classic Federer or the Mitro backhand. You go more kind of to the side. Here, boom. It's kind of like, it's almost like slapping that ball side to side, slapping that ball side to side. And what it does is that it gives you power. I'm warning you, it's a shot that doesn't have a lot of spin, but when you practice it and you control it, it can become a really good weapon because it's one of those shots that when you're rushing, boom, you don't have much time to swing, and it's gonna give you that reply. It's gonna give you that hitting that shot back with power, you know, and even though you don't have, it's pretty good for the returns of serve, but you have to be careful because the racket is coming, it's not going so high, it's coming a little bit more to the side. Okay, so pay attention to the shoulder. This is gonna give you a lot of stability and it's gonna help you for the coil and uncoil. Pay attention to that racket. Don't prepare low, prepare high here to create that snap with power. And if you wanna, and remember, you can go a little more side to side when you want to hit harder and you don't have a lot of time. Even if you have the time, you can swing and go more to the side. But this is something that is going to help you a lot in the shots when you don't have much time to react. But the one thing that I really suggest you pay attention is the shoulder. This shoulder can really keep the stability on that backhand and can really help you become much more consistent. Okay guys, well, I hope it helps. Questions, suggestions, you know, let me know. And subscribe to my channel, give me a like. Well, let's go out there, stay centered, be bold, be perseverant. Thank you.